Wow, it wouldn't be Raider football without a little drama. That's right. I made a video yesterday talking about the upcoming game for the Denver Broncos, and then a few hours later, Chandler Jones went wild. What's going on? There's a lot of theories about there, and you guys know I love a good theory. So, you're getting my theory video here and now, and let's talk about it. Again, there's going to be a lot of speculation in this video, but I think by the end of this, I will have a good grasp at telling you guys what is truly happening behind the scenes for Chandler Jones and the Raiders. Bear with me. Please check out the tweets and the Instagram post online if you want to know what I'm talking about. I am not able to put them on screen and show you guys the actual timeline, but I will put the timeline in words, and then I will give out some theories of what's going on, because that's what we need to do. With the Raiders organization as a whole, especially with the snakes coming in from the Patriots, transparency has not been around. They treat players like cattle, like sheep, without respect. And we all know what's going on. Is this Derek Carr 2.0, where they're trying to get rid of him to move on from a salary, get a trade, and basically make their team better? Let's discuss it. So stick around for the next probably 30 minutes, and we're going to go over some good stuff. Hopefully you guys will start to understand how my brain thinks, and usually I'm right. And I have a good discernment on what's going on in real life with people behind the scenes, whether they're lying, what they're actually doing, and I tend to stay away from those people because I figure it out, I think about it logically, and to the best of my ability. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You guys might not believe me, but I'm 90% right. All the time. I'm a guru. All right, let's get into it. Chandler Jones. First off, let's talk about what people are saying online about what's going on. And you all know what's going on, and if you don't, stay tuned. A lot of people are like, who cares if he's wilding out, if he's going crazy, if he's asking not to play for the Raiders, if he wants to trade, who cares? He sucks. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. He sucks. Okay, I understand that. But this is the Raiders organization as a whole. This is how they treat their players and what's really going on behind the scenes. This is about lies and all that. This is not about Chandler Jones sucking, not playing very good for the Raiders. And this is not about who cares, like Derek Carr, get rid of him. I don't care. This ain't about that. This is a bigger picture. This is a business. This is a corporation. This is bigger than the players. This is how our coach treats our entire team. This is how our general manager treats our entire team. Again, it doesn't matter whether Chandler Jones sucks and we don't want him a part of this team. It does not matter. That being said, let's get into the situation as a whole. And I posted some early theories on my Twitter. You guys can check it out at Mikey Raider, Rayder. But Chandler Jones, the other day, I guess he was feeling good, decided to buy some Tom Ford sunglasses and take them to his general manager and head coach. And just to remind you, Chandler Jones missed a few days of practice the last week or so. I remember at least reading one day he missed practice or two. Okay? So that's information that's kind of plausible and possible. Then, to catch you all up to date, the Raiders are technically $8 million over the cap. And that's what I said was going to happen when Josh Jacobs came back to the team, and it did. Remember when we looked at it a while back, I said they only got like, $9 million or something, it was like $4 or $5 million on the cap. And I go, Well, what about Josh Jacobs? When he comes back, they need to allocate like 10, 12 million or whatever it was. So now the Raiders are 7 or something and a half over, almost 8. That would explain the 10 million coming off the board when they had like 4.5 million. Now they gave him 12, so they needed another 8 million to pay Josh Jacobs officially. So now they're minus 8 or 7.5. Well, Jimmy Garoppolo just took a pay cut. Somehow they freed up $17 million according to the reports. And if the Raiders are 7 million over the cap, they freed up 10 million. Then there's rumors around that the Raiders are going to trade for, Joey Bosa or Brian Burns or blah, 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 blah. And that ain't happening. Will somebody trade for Chandler Jones? I don't think so. And if they do, they have to take on a $12-something million salary this year and a $12 million salary next year. And if the Raiders just release him or cut him, that's basically $12 million on the cap, of the dead cap. Yeah, it'll free up about 1.5 to 2 million somehow, but it'll be like 12 million on the cap. Then next year we'll have another dead cap of like, 10, 11, 12 million. You guys can look that up if you want. So what's really, really happening? So that's the money aspects. The Raiders are trying to get money to pay their players. So, let's get back to the timeline of Chandler Jones. Well, a couple of days ago, apparently he showed up to the facility and he brought Tom Ford sunglasses and he spoke about it on Twitter or Instagram, and he said, I've known my head coach and my general manager since I was a kid. And I'm bringing them some Tom Ford sunglasses to start the season right. He's bringing them a gift. Then apparently he gave them the gift, and then the following day or a few hours later, he writes, you can't see it, but I have it on screen. He writes on Instagram, they won't let me in the building, though, trying to provoke a N-word. Why are they trying to provoke him? Again, they provoke a lot of people, Derek Carr, whoever else, Josh Jacobs. This is the MO for Dave Ziegler and or Josh McDaniels. Okay, so they won't let him in the building. And apparently he tried to go work out at a gym at the Raiders facility, and he's not being let in. Okay, why is that? He wants to work out. Why won't they let him work out? Well, now these are where the theories get started, and we'll go through each text individually. If they won't let him work out, is there a trade possibility for him where they're trying to trade him and he found out about it when he gave him the sunglasses, or he got information through his agent or whatever? Let's just go through it. Did they ask him to take a pay cut, knowing that they need money somehow? If they are trying for a trade, blah, 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 blah. That he got mad and just said, screw it, I'm going to go work out. And then they locked the facility or the gym, and they were told not to let him in. Because if they are trying to trade him, if he gets injured working out, they're not going to get a trade. Okay? But there's more to this story than meets the eye. I am not a transformer. But still, something is going on. And there's also the possibility that he is on a bipolar manic attack. There's so much to this story that all is getting revealed little by little, but you got to read between the lines. Then he wrote, again, after they won't let him in the gym, during this episode, if you will, he said, I want to have a powwow with AB and Alden Smith. And he wrote some sort of a diary thing where he talked about Kanye West, about his brother John Jones, how, they're his idols, and the media makes him crazy. And so basically he's subliminally saying that he knows the media is going to attack him for all of this. And, they were trying to provoke an N-word, as he said earlier on Instagram, and something's going on. He's going to be labeled as crazy, wild, manipulative, whatever the case. Because you got to remember, and I'm not saying this is the case, these are theories and speculation. Josh McDaniels did all that against Derek Carr in the media. A lot of times where he tries to control the narrative, make Derek Carr look insecure, make Derek Carr look the bad guy. Again, these are ways to get rid of players publicly. A lot of people buy into what they say. And a lot of people go, yeah, it's Derek Carr, it's Derek Carr. And then other people like me go, nope, it's more on Josh McDaniels. Again, this is not about gameplay. This is about reacting as a human being, as a coach, as an adult, as a friend, as a businessman, being transparent and all that other stuff. So he wrote this diary thing about his brother, about Kanye West, his idols, Antonio Brown, and then in parentheses with Antonio Brown, he wrote something about Raiders problems or having problems with Raiders staff. He wrote it in parentheses. That means he's having problems with Raiders staff. And he said, I've been having problems for 12 years. They're not going to make me out as crazy. My name is Chandler Jones. I'm not number 55, meaning he's not just an NFL player. Then he burned this diary input on Instagram. And he also wrote, a little while after that, people were saying that he was hacked. Or, well, before that, he said, I don't want to play for the Raiders, though, if this is my head coach, if this is my GM. He goes, I can't believe it. I'm a perennial bull, 112 sack, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, and they're treating me like this. And he goes, I only want to play with Patrick Graham. He's a real ass N-word. So these are all signs of spirals as well. Then people were saying, and this I'm going to tell you guys, the people that think, oh, he's hacked. He got hacked. His Instagram got hacked. Y'all are stupid. Read the signs. Read the text. Read the Instagram post. Stop giving them an excuse. I guarantee you damn Raiders will use that as an excuse to play it in the media. Oh, he got hacked. You get it? If there is real problems, which there are, if they want to get away from it, you guys that say he's been hacked, like it happens every day to every player, to every superstar, relax. Who the heck would want to hack into Chandler Jones' Instagram and start putting posts like that, writing notes, writing messages? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And these posts also included a video of Chandler Jones looking in a mirror. He showed himself. He hasn't been hacked. He showed himself. And then he quoted, he said, I'm good. Then he showed a mirror, and it had a Bible verse, and it said, Jesus takes everything. Or what? Let me look at what it says right here. Sorry, guys. It says, Phil 4.13. I can do all things, Jesus Christ. Okay? So that's what it is. He hasn't been hacked. So these people that are giving the Raiders brass excuses to say in the media, y'all need to stop. That's ridiculous, y'all. Ridiculous. And again, look at all these texts on Instagram and Twitter. You can find them online. I just can't show them to you guys. All right? So that's what's going on. And then let me get my screen going again. But he has not been hacked. He might be going through a manic bipolar type episode, and it wouldn't be the Raiders if we didn't have a bipolar player on our team. And let's quickly go over the entire history of Chandler Jones and his family. Chandler Jones' father is a priest. That's why he mentioned the Bible verses and all that other stuff. John Jones, his brother, is a wrestler or whatever in the UFC, a fighter in the UFC. And he's had mental episodes, and he's been portrayed as wild and weird, in the media. And then let's just go to some backstory real quick. Chandler Jones has had an episode or two back in the days with the New England Patriots. This is why I'm leaning toward he's having a bipolar, a manic, or a drug-induced episode, more so than anything else that's going on. Why do I say that? Because when he was with New England, there was something where he went crazy. They found him in a parking lot, and he was praying, and the cops came to get him, and he had his hands over his head, and he was praying out loud, and they arrested him, and they smelt marijuana, they said, but the reports got redacted, taken offline, and again, let's just be honest. He probably has some sort of mental illnesses, and he partakes in the devil's lettuce or other things on occasion. Or he's on a prescribed medicine by doctors, and every once in a while, he goes off of it, or he does another drug or medicine that counteracts whatever medicine he had. Then he goes on a tangent, but it hasn't happened that much. But there is a history of something like that with him. Then, when he did have that episode or two, he always spoke about God because his dad's a preacher, and his mind went to like racism and tough, strong words and stuff like that. And that's what he was doing in this Instagram post as well. So now let's look at the initial text that started it all, where he screen grabbed DMs. Everybody thinks he's talking to Josh McDaniels. I do not think he's DMing Josh McDaniels. I think he's DMing Mark Davis, or the CEO of the team, the woman. And here's why. So hopefully you guys get these texts or these DMs from Twitter, and we can read along. So I have it on screen. He writes, "That's not nice," to whoever he's talking to. Then he wrote, "Love you anyway," with a heart. And that's why I think it might be that lady president of the Raiders. Because she is the president. So then he writes, "How do you expect me to play this season? And I can't even get my GM on the phone." Okay, so you know he's not texting Dave Ziegler by saying, "I can't even get my GM on the phone." That's why many people think he's talking to Josh McDaniels. But no, there is another person at play. And then he writes, "How do you expect me to play this season?" Again, he probably has an injury or two. Maybe he had to take some medicines or get off medicines, or he had some pain, took some pain medicines, and something happened to him mentally. But now he wants to start. It's today, Tuesday, yesterday, the first day to practice, to get back on the field, to start the season, and he wants to go to the gym. And then, like I said, they locked him out of the gym. Then he might have found out some other information. Like again, I don't think this is actually fact right now. I think this is more so an episode that he's having. And maybe he did find out that the Raiders are technically trying to use whatever's going on, or use his history of possible mental illness or whatever against him to trade him, to get some money and stuff like that. Again, it all goes hand in hand. But he wrote, "How do you expect me to play this season?" Meaning bounce back from maybe an injury. And I can't even get my general manager on the phone. And then he writes, "Thanks for that portal." That's a sarcastic comment saying, you're supposed to be the person that I can at least contact to get to him. And, sarcastically, "Thanks for that portal." Then he writes, "Should I call Josh?" But he puts a question mark in it. So initially he was talking about he can't even get the general manager on the phone. Then he writes, "Should I call Josh?" with a question mark. He's not asking Josh, "Should I call the general manager?" He already tried to call him. He can't get him on the phone through the portal. He doesn't have the number. So then he writes, "Should I call Josh?" Meaning, should I call Josh McDaniels? You get it? He's talking to the president, or Mark Davis, the woman president. He's like, "I couldn't get a hold of the GM on the phone. Should I call Josh?" Then he writes, "Or will he not pick up either?" Again, He's saying the general manager doesn't pick up. And should I call Josh, or will he not pick up either? And again, he might be talking to the president. But with that statement, he could actually be talking to the general manager. Being sarcastically saying, I can't even get my general manager, and he wrote general manager or GM in parentheses. My GM on the phone. I can't even get my general manager. I can't even get my friend on the phone. You get it? So he could possibly be talking to Dave Ziegler. And that seems a little more plausible to me, but still. He said, I can't even get my general manager on the phone. Thanks for the portal. Because he probably only had, again, I don't know. But he's definitely not talking to Josh McDaniels. And I didn't think he was talking to Dave Ziegler, but he could be. And he also could be talking to the president, the woman. Should I call Josh, ? Or will he not pick up either? Sarcastically. Then he writes, why y'all bring me to Vegas? Again, he could be talking to Mark Davis, could be talking to the president. But now that I'm looking at it a little bit more clearly, he's talking to Dave Ziegler. He's talking to Dave Ziegler. And he's throwing out sarcastic terms and stuff like that. He's talking to Dave Ziegler. Why y'all bring me to Vegas? To play with me? Interesting, interesting. Now, let's get into the next series of tweets, if I can get that on screen. And then he also screenshotted him, and he wrote, I sent this to your roomie, meaning Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler were roommates in college or high school. And he wrote, I sent this to your Y-A, your roomie. So I think he's talking to Dave Ziegler. Definitely. And then the thing he sent to actually Josh McDaniels, not Dave Ziegler, because he said, I sent this to your roomie. He wrote, it's a shame that I am a top athlete with 112 sacks in the NFL, and I have to go to a local gym to work out during the season for no apparent reason. This is wild to me, Josh, and you know it, and you need to do what's right. Again, they locked him out of a gym for whatever reason, and it's getting interesting. Again, did they lock him out of a gym because they're trying to trade him? Did they lock him out of a gym for his own good? If he's having a manic episode, a drug-induced episode, a bipolar episode, whatever. Very interesting, guys. Sorry, my TV turned off on the things. And then I wanted to talk about the text about his baby mama. I thought that was an interesting one. See if I can get that on screen. So we could break down the baby mama drama. Sorry, guys. Where's the one of his baby mama? Sorry, guys. I gotta find it. I don't even know if it's here. Oh, yeah, I think I found it. Okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys, I enjoyed doing this. Thank you guys for sticking around. And again, a lot of people say Chandler Jones is so well-spoken that he doesn't talk like this. So they don't know what's going on. That's why they think he's hacked. But he's not been hacked. Again, he doesn't talk like this normally because he's in well-minded mental capabilities. So something is definitely wrong and different. So here's the situation that he spoke about on Instagram as well. After he couldn't get into the gym and all this other stuff is going on. He wrote, and they had direct contact to my baby mama. And we ain't been together for 5 years. So if you are going through a manic episode or bipolar episode, a lot of negativity is going to come out and you start finding out truths. And again, you start seeing things for not really what they are. So he's basically saying, and they had direct contact, meaning the general manager and Josh McDaniels and whoever else, the Raiders, they had direct contact with his baby mama. Family is separate. And he's like, they had direct contact with my baby mama and we ain't been together for 5 years. So how do they have my baby mama's phone number? How are they in contact with her? Etc. And then he goes, some lady reporting to her, meaning some lady reporting to her, maybe the president of the Raiders, or publicity, or somebody trying to get information from his baby mama. He wrote, some lady is reporting to her, meaning his baby's mama, about how I was at work. Some lady reporting to her about how I was at work, meaning he's going crazy. He's having an episode at work. So somebody possibly called his baby mama and told him, hey, Chandler Jones is crazy at work. What's going on? Do you know, does he do stuff like this? Does he talk like this? You know, whatever's going on. So they contacted his baby mama to get more information because they probably have never seen this from Chandler Jones. And then Chandler Jones is like, why you got my baby mama's number? Why are you talking to her about, you know, how I was or how I was being at work when I don't even talk to her about my work? So he's like, how you got my baby mama's number? How you talking to her about how I was at work? And I don't even tell her what I do at work. Like, he doesn't contact her that much. He goes, I don't even talk to her about work or anything meaning personal. He says, I don't even talk to her about anything at work or personal. And then he writes again in parentheses or whatever, like how you know my baby mama, ? Provoked. So he's like, how the hell do you got my baby's mama number? How are you contacting her about however I'm being at work? And I'm provoked. He wrote provoked. So, in summary to this entire thing that we've been talking about and all his text messages that have now been removed and all that, and again, the Raiders are probably going to use the excuse he was hacked or whatever, but that ain't the case. Again, that's a stupid theory. All right, the true theory from all of this that I can gather from my knowledge is Chandler Jones is having an episode somehow. He's doing drugs, he did something, and he transported back to a manic person or something like that, and he's on a binge. I lived with an alcoholic brother. He also did whippets, and I understand the signs of that type of stuff. And again, let's be honest. He possibly is being shopped or traded or something like that. He might be behind the scenes, and he probably heard those rumors. But the truth is, he's possibly hurting. He lives in Las Vegas now, and that's called Sin City. And it wouldn't be the Raiders if we had an alcohol or drug or whatever tragedy to start the season. And again, lack of transparency, lack of family when players leave the team, and lack of accountability will bite you in the butt. Again, my theory is Chandler Jones heard all the rumblings about how bad he was last year, and he's trying to do things differently this year, train better, be better. He possibly injured himself during training camp. He missed a few days of practices, I believe, and then maybe he started on a new treatment, a new this, a new that, and if he was initially on medicine for bipolar, he didn't let the team know or anybody know, and maybe something affected with that medicine. Then he ended up going on a binge and then stopped taking his medicine, but then he would try to self-medicate maybe with marijuana or anything else or alcohol. Then he maybe showed up to the facility, you know, with the Tom Ford glasses. And again, it was in an enlightened state. He shows up to the facility, you know, thinking, I'm good. This is going to be a good season, baby. I'm going to tear it up. You know, while being intoxicated, bipolar, manic, whatever. And he's like, I love these guys. And he shows up to the offices to give them the sunglasses, and something goes down. They call him out. They talk to him, and they're like, you seem different. What's up? I'm good. And he said that in the video. I'm good. And they might have saw the signs of something wrong, right? So they told him, hey, you know, go have a good day, get out, you know, we'll talk to you later. So then when Tuesday came, the day of, you know, the practice for the season to get into the gym early, he couldn't get in. he was locked out. Then he's still in his manic state. Then he starts going off on Twitter. Then he starts calling them, trying to figure out why he can't get into the gym. And then they're now calling his baby mama. Does he act like this? Like, what is he doing? We've never seen him like this. Do you know something that we don't know? And that's why he's going back and forth. And then that's why when he found out, that they're talking to his baby mama, and he gets provoked, he's like, this is some BS. And then he knows all the rumblings and the truth about Dave Ziegler and or Josh McDaniels being a-holes and people like that don't respect people and talk harshly and bench people and cut people and basically act like a snake. And that's going through his head when he's bipolar or manic or whatever's going on, that he's having an episode or he's on a binge. So then that's why he comes to a conclusion in his head. F it, I don't want to play for the Raiders if they're my head coach or general manager. And I'm not saying this is fact or fiction, but on the show Winning Time about the Los Angeles Lakers, Magic Johnson is a player, and he just asked for a trade from the Lakers on that show. Or they had to fire the coach. And they literally fired the coach and kept Magic on the team. And in a turn of events, maybe he watches that show. And again, he's having an episode and he watches a player get a coach fired. So maybe that's why he's saying, I don't want to play for the Raiders if that's my head coach or my general manager, in reference to the episode of Winning Time where the popular player, the all-pro player in Magic Johnson, basically got his head coach fired. That's just a little theory I'm throwing in there because I know these players watch those type of shows, and it could all coincide into his manic episode that he's dealing with. But that's my truth on the situation. Now, the Raiders canceled their press conference on the Tuesday practice. They canceled it. They're trying to get their ducks in a row for the PR department. And now, today is Wednesday. Let's see what they talk about, what they do, and if they got Chandler Jones some help. Am I blaming this on a trade where Chandler Jones is getting mad? No, he's 12 years into his season, and that trade theory that I had, it doesn't hold weight. But it does now after this episode. After him having a possible manic episode or whatever's going on, a binge. Now, he might be trying to be traded. So they have to keep the information at bay. Because they can't trade a player that's on drugs, bipolar, having a manic episode, trying to get his head coach fired, and making an issue on social media. They'll lose any value they can get for him. So the Raiders PR department forced him or did something where they deleted all of these tweets and they're trying to stop it. Because now maybe they're trying to officially trade him. But I do believe they did ask him for a pay cut. Somewhere during this whole thing, I believe they asked him for a pay cut. So that also probably made him a little bit upset to where maybe he went on a binge or something like that. It's very, very interesting. But let's find out what they say at the press conference. If anything, we definitely know they're not going to tell us the truth because the Raiders never tell us the truth, especially this staff. Remember they lied about Jimmy Garoppolo's injury and all that for months and months, even to reporters. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that's my theory. He had an episode for whatever reasons. They realized it. They kicked him out of the gym because they didn't want him to be working out while he's probably drugged, having an episode, injure himself or whatever. They were looking out for his best interest. And again, let's find out what happens. Those are my theories, guys. I hope you appreciate it. And let's find out what happens in the next day or two, and I'll come to you guys with another video. I'm Mikey Raider. Stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy. And remember, Raiders for life, baby. But it ain't Raider time unless there's something dysfunctional happening with our team. And I'm freaking tired of it. I'm freaking tired of it.